The ban list has dropped. What's going on, Pegasus from the Wise Guys? Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you sub. Make sure you hit the bell. Man, the ban list dropped. Literally dropped the second that I got to work. I walked in the door and literally the ban list dropped right then and there. So obviously mine's going to be a little bit later. Mine's going to be a little bit less informative because you've already been informed of the list for several hours now. But I did want to talk about each and every part of it. And then a little bit more after that. First of all, on the forbidden stuff, I really was shocked that Union Carrier let off this part of the list, but I also completely understand it. However, it was a little bit suspect to me that they put Union Carrier and Ben 10 to 1 on the same list, which foreshadowing, Ben 10 got limited to 1. But as far as the other two cards, I really agree with them because basically people couldn't play. Let's just call it what it is. People couldn't play. We need people to be able to play because I feel like cards like True King of All Calamities, VFD, and Utopic Zexal being a part of the game cause people to not want to play the game because they can't play the game in all actuality. Moving on to the limited list, obviously you saw just Ben 10 was there by herself. Trust me, trust me, trust me, and the video will be coming out within about a day or so, but I'm telling you now, go over to Rampingu Nation, Justin Singh's page, and literally camp out and wait because he's going to break it wide open. Just like a lot of people that are my friends, whether they're on Dueling Book, whether they're on Facebook, whether they're on my team, already in the lab, it's already been solved. Just trust me on that. Moving on to some of the other cards, obviously it's going to hurt a little bit with Ben 10, but it isn't as devastating as you would possibly think. The Unlimited list is the story of this list. Really, with the Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, we will have an updated Buster Blader profile coming, I promise you. The other interesting part was Firewall Dragon being unlimited. It obviously has been eroded to be far less powerful, but still powerful in its own right. And I could have lived with never seeing Firewall ever again in life, but we'll see how it goes. And then obviously you got Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche being unlimited to 3, which is a little bit weird to me. But as far as some of the other cards, Duloran isn't quite as impactful. It's not impactful at 1, and there's no like real loops that you would even have to worry about in the modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Ignister Prominence, I mean, Draco Face Off is still at 1, so it is what it is with that. Rank Up Magic Argent Chaos Force, obviously with Zexal not existing anymore, Argent Chaos Force wouldn't really matter anymore, would it? Not so much. I guess you get where I'm coming from with that. And last but not least on the list, True King's Return, which means Draco really is very, very close to full power. Obviously no masterpiece, but it's very, very close to full power. So let's get into the second part of this video. So guys, I wanted to touch specifically on multiple variants and multiple decks that obviously got hit or indirectly hit on this part of the list. I think obviously with the Numeron stuff, you guys already knew that pretty much Zex was going to get touched at some point, and now you can still play the network and you still play the calling and still make rather large links rather quickly. I still feel like the Numeron engine is a very, very powerful engine, but at least your opponent can get to play. And I feel like that was the correct hit, actually. And I didn't think Zexa would really get hit because I didn't think it was that unfair, but it still is unfair enough. And you want to be able to have people be able to play the game. As far as with the Drytron stuff, I think the double hit is definitely harsh. I think with Benton getting hit to 1, obviously, and the Union Carriers you're already aware of getting banned, you have to basically get to the Ben 10 a hell of a lot faster, and you have to rely on the cards that can basically spin it around a couple times and be able to use it because you don't have the 3 to use at your disposal. So I think cards like Megalith Full are obviously going to be a hell of a lot more important, and they're probably going to be a hell of a lot more necessary, as well as cards like Herald of Perfection and the engine that comes with that, the Dawn of the Herald, etc., etc. And then obviously if you want to read some of the other Cyber Angels, I'm just going to give you some foreshadowing. This is definitely going to help you, but we're going to have another video on that at another time. I think obviously with Datascape, aka Virtual World is going to have some options. It's either going to be the mid-range version. There's really going to be 3 different versions. I think there's going to be a mid-range version where it's really just relying on Shin Shin and being able to just grind the hell out of your opponent, because Shin Shin is a very, very good card. Regardless of how powerful you think the deck is now, it's still very, very strong and very, very potent, and something that you're obviously going to have to deal with. I think Tzolk'in is obviously an option because it's very easy to get 2 level 6s on the field with this deck, especially rather easily and rather rapidly, and being able to do that and then go into a Dragoon play afterwards, whether that be with a Verte Anaconda or a Muddy Muddragon. The combo is coming. Trust me, it'll be probably the first video after this one. There's definitely things that you can do. And then obviously you already knew about Gothams. Gothams was already a thing before, but shout out to this. But now you basically have to understand that it's a real thing and you're probably going to have to deal with it. So if you already dislike Virtual World, you're probably really not going to like it now because it's going to be even more wild or even more grindy or even more cheesy, or it's just going to have a longer drawn out combo toolbox type thing that you may want to check out and go up against and then see how you fare against it. I do think it definitely is a hell of a lot weaker, but it's still rather strong. I don't think Virtual World is going to drop too much. As far as some of the other winners, I think first and foremost, Guru being up at the top of that list. Guru being basically any of these back row decks like that, Altergeist too. I could name multiple decks like that, but any of these decks that really were already doing okay in bigger tournaments, now they're going to be doing slightly better, although trust me, I'm irritated by it. Dragon Link still hasn't been hit. Let's take a break out and finally understand. Dragon Link hasn't been hit yet. And a lot of people really feel like, yeah, it has. Well, no, it really hasn't, because you still got to. I'm tired of seeing LP, and you're going to see LP even more. In case you thought it was going to fade, trust me, it's not. It's still going to be around because nothing has really happened. But I definitely think that Guru not getting touched in any kind of way, which, the Dragoon stuff is still a thing. You're still going to have to deal with that deck getting rolling and you being able to do absolutely nothing about it. Although it's still going to struggle going second a little bit, it still is a very, very, very powerful Avalanche style deck once it gets going. Shadal's, obviously with Construct, obviously with Wind, obviously with the Schism plays, obviously with all of the Dogmatica stuff that goes along with it, whether you're even playing that version or you're playing the trap version all by itself without any Dogmatica stuff inside of it. Shadal's is definitely a winner on this ban list because you're going to have to deal with it as well. I really foresee, as long as some of these cards exist, I mean, Construct did get banned once upon a time, but like Winda is still always going to be Winda. And I don't really have much else to say besides that. So as we close out this video, guys, make sure that you sub, make sure you hit the bell, and then make sure you are aware of all the videos coming down the pipeline, specifically as we enter into this new meta. And we all try to really figure out what the hell we're going to do, what the hell deck we're going to play, how we're going to modify each and every deck that we play. And make sure that you show up on the 24th for our Wise Guys Wednesdays tournament, where you can win a box or more given how many people show up. I'm out. YG baby.